she's feeling some kind of way. He's feeling some kind of way about the kind of way she's feeling. Hey guys, happy Monday. Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie, and this is my reading blog. So today is Monday, April 6th. So the book that I'm currently reading that I started actually last night is Magician's Apprentice by Raymond Feist. At the last minute, I changed my OWLS TBR. I was going to do Mistborn for my herbology exam because the prompt for that one is a book that starts with M. And Mistborn is really the name of the series. The first book is, from what I understand, called The Last Empire or The Final Empire. So I made the snap decision to go ahead and read Magician Apprentice. This book was gifted to me for my birthday last month by my friend Steven, and he's been really excited for me to get into this one. So I started it last night, and I think I got about 20 pages in, and I am currently on page 85, and I am really enjoying it so far. The chapters I've read so far are basically a little bit of character development, a little bit of world building. I think now it's about to really start developing the plot of the story. But so far, we're following a young orphan named Pug who happened to get caught out in a storm, and he sought refuge with the magician for the castle that Pug is living at. So that's the book that I started with today. Sometimes when I read a book that is intellectually stimulating, I like to break it up with a little something else, just to kind of give my brain a break, and also to let things that, I like to stop every few chapters and just kind of let what I read sink in. So another book I've been really excited about, and I said book, but it's really a comic book. It is my very first comic I ever got, and this was also a birthday gift from Steven. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna read a little bit. And suddenly, next thing I know, I couldn't put it down until I finished it. So I didn't know it was a comic. I saw the Netflix adaptation first. And I only watched it because Steven asked me to. He's like, you need to watch this. And it took me 5 episodes, basically half of the first series, to even get into it. And I'm so glad that I finished it, and I'm so glad that I told Steven that I was interested in reading the comic, because the comic is way better. Like, this comic is like 150 pages, and this was the one that I chose to read for my potions exam for my OWLS, because it's a shrinking potion, meaning a book 150 pages or less. And so with the 150 pages, they succinctly laid out those first 5 episodes of the show way better. And it wasn't as childish as I felt the show. The beginning of it, I just felt was so cliche. Like, I was immediately turned off in the first episode, because it's like, oh, somebody died. Now they magically they inherit this huge house out in the middle of nowhere, and they move in and things start to happen. And so I was kind of turned off by it. I was not invested in it at all, but it did have a few interesting aspects that I hadn't seen in anything else, and that is the magical keys for Key House and what happens when you find these keys to unlock certain doors. I will own this full collection, so I can't wait to get the next one in the series. So I will definitely be procuring that one very soon. So that is what all reading I have done so far today. I'm about to go downstairs, and we're gonna fry up some chicken for dinner tonight, and we're gonna take care of the pups, get them walked, and probably we'll end up playing a little World of Warcraft with my husband. I hope you all have had an amazing day so far in your week, and I'll check in with y'all later. I sincerely hope that there is nothing stuck in my teeth. I literally just finished eating tacos for Taco Tuesday, and I wanted to run up here really quick and film a quick check-in before my husband started raiding tonight. So I read a pretty good bit last night after I checked in, and then I read just a touch today. I have spent the day cleaning, and I edited a video or two, and then I've been trying to learn a new editing software. I've been kind of floating back and forth between Adobe Premiere and Filmora Wondershare Pro. They're both really difficult for me to grasp at this point, so at any rate. But I am still working on Magician Apprentice by Raymond Feist. I am really loving this book. It is really good story. Last night, I was doing some reading late last night, and I just had about 3 or 4 chapters of some serious character development and world building going on, and it was such a huge information dump that my brain was like, I need a break. So I decided to put that one down for a bit, and then I went ahead and picked up Grave Peril by Jim Butcher. It's book 3 in the Dresden Files, and I got like 3 chapters in on this one, and then I decided, you know what, I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Checked out for the evening. So the plan is I'm about to hop in the shower, get in my cozy comfy pajamas, and try to decide which book I want to read. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with Magician Apprentice this evening. I did get a little chunk of it read this afternoon. We had a little sprint with our Owls Magical Readathon, and I'm probably going to dig back into that one. I may edit another video. I'm not sure. I may also play some World of Warcraft. I will peace out for now and check in with y'all later. What up, guys? It is Friday, April 10th, and I apologize. I haven't updated in a couple of days, and there's really no excuse, but I'm going to give you some excuses anyway. So Wednesday, I sat down and decided I was going to watch an episode of Motherland, Fort Salem. It's a new show that is on, I cannot remember the channel right now off the top of my head. At any rate, I've been recording it, and finally actually remembered that I've been recording it. I was like, you know what? I want to watch the show and see what I think. And so I sat down and watched the first episode, was definitely interested, went ahead to watch the second to form a good opinion of whether or not I wanted to continue. And next thing I knew, I had binged all 3 episodes. I think there was only 3. There may have been 4. At any rate, I watched them all. Loved it. It is a different type of witch show. It's not like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's a completely different view on if instead of persecuting the witches, we turned around and put them to work. There is a whole branch of the military that is nothing but witches, and they go through basic training. They have what's called War College if they graduate basic training, which was really interesting. And they actually get out on the front lines and fight. And the bad guys of the show are called the Spree. So far, I have learned absolutely nothing about them except they take anything they can put air in, and somehow this air, what they do to it, it blows shit up. I mean, I'm not sure. They just haven't explained how it works yet. The premise of the show is we're starting out, and evidently they do a yearly draft, and they did their draft of the new witches that are entering basic. So you're following the new witches that are in basic, and it's really interesting. I'm enjoying it so far. So I got wrapped up in watching that, and then my husband and I started watching Wayward Pines based off the recommendation of a couple of our best friends from back home. First thing I noticed when we start playing the first episode is the executive producer is Blake Crouch. Of course, I pull out my phone, I look it up. Okay, so Blake Crouch has a trilogy called Wayward Pines. I immediately added the books to my TBR. The first episode was okay, but I really got pulled in with the second and third episodes, and now I am all in. Both of us, both my husband and I, are extremely interested in this show, so we've gone off the deep end watching that. It's really interesting. And then I finally got back on the reading train good yesterday, and I have been working on Magician Apprentice by Raymond Feist, and I went into this book blind. It was a birthday gift from my best friend Steven. He loves it. He's read it several times. I knew that I was going to enjoy it. I had no idea how much I was going to enjoy it. And he sent me book 1 and 2, which originally was just supposed to be the first book, but the publisher told Mr. Feist, this is never going to sell with it being this big, so he split it into 2. And I thought that there was only 2 books in the series. And I was talking to Stephen about it. I'm like, hey man, I'm about 40 pages from finishing this. It's so good. I don't understand how this guy's gonna wrap this up in just 1 more book. He was like, 1? Try like 12. I was stoked. So excited. I'm gonna make a prediction right now that this series is going to usurp The Sword of Truth and Wheel of Time for me and become my second favorite fantasy series. I've just had some major upsets this year. First off, Stormlight Archives, the first book I read, The Way of Kings, has usurped my most favorite books ever and became my new most favorite book ever. And now my longtime favorite series I've been reading for years just got usurped by this one. I've only read 1 book. What is happening? That book satisfied one of my subjects. Satisfied my herbology subject for my owls. So the obvious next choice was to continue my owls, and so that is my potions charm I don't even know. And that is my charms class, which is to read a book with a mostly white cover, and so I chose Malice by John Glenn. I'm also going into this book blind. This is a series of 4 books, The Faithful and the Fallen, and Brittany with Plants and Paperbacks. I happened to catch her review on the second book of the series first, and in a few of her videos after that one, she just kept her energy and excitement about this series just sent me over the edge. Next thing I knew, it was probably the second or third video she mentioned this series. I'm ordering the books. So I am diving in. I've only read so far 38 pages, and that is not enough to gauge anything about this book at this point. Right now I am still meeting the characters. I really have absolutely no idea what this is about. I didn't even read the synopsis. I just cracked this baby open and went for it. So I am hoping to put some work in on this one this weekend and get a good chunk in, and then I can update you more on what I think. I did post a little tweet about starting it, and a bunch of people on Twitter spoke up. I was like, man, this is one of my favorite series, so I'm really excited about this one too. And that is the extent of what I've been up to the last few days. Well, so I take that back. I have also been playing World of Warcraft. We decided, I've been looking at the Shadowlands expansion videos and all the hype surrounding it, and so my husband and I are extremely interested in playing that one. It looks to be the best expansion that has come out in the game since Wrath of the Lich King. So in preparation for that, we kind of got to dinking back around. We started dinking around with our retail characters again. We noticed there were some new classes, one being for the Horde, a Night Stalker. So we jumped in, we decided to finish all the quests and achievements to unlock that race, and we've decided we're gonna roll new tunes just for the hell of it. And so we are probably going to be purchasing Battle for Azeroth expansion this weekend so we can just dive off into that. If anything, WoW is a fantastic time sink, so yeah. So yeah, other than reading, watching Wayward Pines and Motherland, I've been playing WoW. It's the life of a nerd. I'll check in with y'all later. So I am checking in on Easter Sunday. I hope you all have had a wonderful Easter and have been able to find some Easter joy in the midst of being forced to be stuck at home. I've seen a lot of people in my community out today walking around in their Easter best, enjoying the pretty weather that we have. It isn't as hot as normal out here in Central Florida today. We had a bunch of cloud cover, so that was nice. But let's see. So, update on reading. I actually spent most of yesterday playing World of Warcraft, and I finally, late last night, sat down to get some reading done. I did read some more on Malice, and I am actually on page 178. Here's the thing. I feel like I've just now been introduced to all of the characters that are going to play a part in this story, and it took well over 100 pages for me to feel that way, and it's kind of styled like the Song of Fire and Ice, where each chapter is dedicated to a character. The problem was I was having a little trouble because there were so many new characters at once. Like, I think I would have enjoyed it better if maybe we had started with 2 or 3 and then gradually introduced some more players to the story, but no, we kind of started with feels like 6 or 7, and I couldn't really learn enough about one before we were going to the next one, and then the next one. By the time we circled back around with the first one, I had kind of forgotten what I read in the first chapter about that character. But I think that's over now, and I feel like I'm finally getting to the meat of the plot. We've got our character development, we've got our characters, we've got some world building going on. It's really interesting. This world is really interesting. I am very excited to see what is about to happen. I feel like this book is about to really sprout some wings and take off as far as the plot goes. So I hope to get a little more read on this later. I read a pretty good bit last night. I have not read a lick today because we got up this morning and sat down and watched about 3 more episodes or more, about 3 or 4 more episodes of Wayward Pines. Fortunately, they revealed their hand too soon, in my opinion, of what's going on with this town. So it kind of lost some of the intrigue. I think we actually got to the end of season 1 and it's just kind of predictable and has lost its magic for me. I'm not that interested in it anymore. I no longer feel really invested in it, but we were feeling lazy. We just sat around, watched TV all morning, and then we came upstairs. My husband's like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Well, I want to play some Overwatch." I haven't played Overwatch in probably a year or so, and we had a lot of fun playing Overwatch. And then we pulled up some WoW retail and did a few dungeons, went and got groceries. Now we're about to see about some dinner. I don't know if I'm going to play video games or read tonight. So one other update on reading is I had my Lock and Key comic book review go up on Friday, and a gentleman from a company emailed me and was like, and said, "Hey, I've got 5 issues of a comic that I helped write, and it's called Invasion from Planet Russelltopia. Would you be interested if I sent you a copy of these to read?" I said, "Absolutely." I mean, what's funny, this guy had no idea, but I'm actually a longtime wrestling fan. When I was in my tweens, my Aunt Margaret got me hooked on wrestling. And I was a huge fan all the way up until WCW and WWF merged. When it became WWE, it just lost its magic for me, and all of the greats kind of got out of it, in my opinion. And so I decided to break up. So in the midst of my chunk of time that I spent reading Malice last night, I decided to break it up with trying out one of the comics from the series. Well, one turned into 5. Yep, you heard me right. I read all 5 issues. My only complaint about these comics is there just wasn't enough. So I did email the gentleman I had been speaking with, and I told him that. I said, my only dislike, there's not enough. Is there going to be more? And he said, yeah, we're actually putting the final touches on the 6th one, and it's going to be a doozy. So I'm very excited about that. I will have to get a review up. I need you guys exposed to this because I enjoyed it so much. It was so funny, and it is basically, if you know anything about wrestling, they're big shit talkers. It's always about when they're going to get their shot at the title. And so the main focus is on Rory Landale, and he kind of he was supposed to get it was supposed to be his turn to have the title. The guy running the AWF, American World Federation, was like, you know what, I changed my mind. You're not going to get it on this pay-per-view. And the dude's pissed. So he's getting interviewed prior to his match, and he just kind of lets fly. And he had made his own belt, which is, I think it looked like a pizza box, but it said like Galaxy on it. Champion of the Galaxy. And so the TV broadcast gets intercepted by Manifest Destiny, who is evidently the champion of a planet out in space called WrestleTopia. And so he comes to Earth to find Rory Landale and challenge him. I mean, it was hilarious. I chuckled my way through, and it was just the perfect read for me to break up the seriousness of the world building and intrigue that's happening in Malice. So I'll definitely have to get a review of those up soon. These guys were just fantastic at their craft, and I want them to succeed. But at any rate, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. I said hop off on Easter. But I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna go have fun spending the rest of my Sunday evening with my husband and my pups. I hope you all had an amazing week, and I will see you soon.